Being a big fan of the glory days of survival horror, especially the classic Resident Evil and Silent Hills, I was excited to play Vaccine, a new game that actually harkens back to those days, especially with the graphical style. But is the game good enough to vaccinize the competition, or is it so bad you'll just want to die from the disease? Obviously, the thing that's going to jump out first and foremost for Vaccine is the graphics. This game looks like it was pulled directly from the mid-1990s. Not only in the character models, but the textures and just the look of the house that you get to explore. Everything screams 5th generation, and this brought back, of course, a big nostalgic feeling for me. While this may end up turning some away, I was immediately intrigued, and I think they did a good job of trying to capture that look and feel. But the game isn't set up like a typical survival horror. You have 2 characters that you can choose from, and they have a few differences to them, mostly in the starting statistics that they have at the beginning, and whoever you don't end up picking ends up being sick with whatever disease is floating around. Your goal is within the time limit to explore the mansion, find the vaccination, and get it back to your partner before that time ends up running out. You're armed with nothing at first, though there is a survival knife in every one of the starting rooms, and once you leave that room, it's completely random. You're not sure what is going to lead into where. Doors will end up being locked with certain keys that you'll need to end up, of course, finding. There'll be plenty of dead ends that just have broken doorknobs that you won't be able to continue, and you never know what kind of room is going to be attached to the room that you're currently in. This also means that the items and the monsters you're going to be battling are also random. Right away, the game is pretty challenging. In fact, I died quite a few times before I started to get the hang of things. Sure, it has that tank-esque control, though it's not exactly like a classic tank control from the old survival horrors. It will take a little bit to get used to, that is for sure, and even throughout the course of it, there were still moments where I was struggling a little bit here and there as far as movement was concerned. I really wish there was things like a quick turn that would have allowed me to easily get out of certain situations or quickly turn around and fire at enemies. What makes the biggest difference, though, for being able to actually survive is in the statistics. Every time you end up attacking an enemy, or even stuff like opening up doors, you earn experience that you can then spend on one of 6 different stat categories, including, of course, your health, your stamina, so that you can run around a little bit more, your luck for what kind of items that you're going to be finding in different locations, and, of course, the most important, as far as I was concerned, the aim, because the aim affects how much damage you end up dealing to the enemies. Ammo, of course, is going to be scarce at first, so when moving around, you're going to have to pick which times you want to use your knife, or which times you're going to want to go ahead and use the gun. And I found that a knife actually worked for most enemies in the game. There's basically, though, unfortunately, only about 5 types of enemies in the entire experience. You have the basic zombie type guy, and there's a few different versions of that zombie, but they all fight pretty much the same. You have this crawling-like creature, which is similar to the lickers from Resident Evil, though they aren't jumping around quite as much or using their giant tongue to take you out, but they can deal hit after hit really fast. In fact, my guess is the first time you play it, this is the kind of creature that will end up killing you more so than the zombies. There's also bats that will bust through windows at random times, and rats that'll be hiding underneath the furniture and then pop out and try to give you a little nibble. And then there's the boss-type creature that you end up finding in each of the vaccination rooms. So not only do you have to find the vaccination, you have to take out a pretty tough boss in order to actually grab it and move on. While the lack of variety didn't bother me at first, the longer I ended up playing, the more I wish there was a few more things they could have ended up throwing at me in order to try to stop me. And the same goes for the weaponry. There's only the handgun, the knife, the shotgun, and then you get a special gun when you end up killing the boss for the first time, but this is basically just a more powerful handgun. Besides the guns and ammo, there are some proximity mines you'll be able to find that you'll be able to place and blow up some enemies. You'll have certain items that will increase stats for a temporary amount of time, and of course health items to help you as well. The biggest issues when it comes to Vaccine, though, is the game starts off really difficult since you do have very limited amount of supplies, but then becomes unbelievably easy once you make it to the second and third rounds of the game. Basically, once you find the vaccine and get it back to your partner, you will end up moving up a rank and then move on to the next level, which is the same mansion, just a new random design, and you have less time in order to complete the goal. You then do that, and then repeat the process over and over again, slowly gaining ranks. There is a little bit more to it. There are some documents to find that will give you a little bit of backstory, as well as the mystery of the house itself can be solved. It doesn't necessarily involve just finding the vaccine, but for the most part, your goal is to find the vaccine, return it to your partner, rinse and repeat over and over. The thing is, though, your stats remain the same once you end up moving up to the next rank. So if you move aim all the way up to level 8 or 9, it'll stay there. So once you max out all your stats at level 10, you're pretty much an unstoppable killing machine. Also, by then, you'll probably have plenty of ammo, and since you carry over your weapons and items, this just makes the later ranks an absolute breeze. Yes, the time limit will make sure that it's a bit nerve-wracking, especially when you run into a few dead ends, or you're unable to find that particular key. But as far as the enemy threat goes, well, that's pretty much non-existent. While it will take you a little bit to get the hang of things, when it comes to actually going through it, once you get a good run, it's about an hour, maybe hour and a half in order to get through each one of the rankings. I just wish there was more types of rooms, more types of enemies, and more types of weapons to fight, or even more unlockables that you could earn by getting higher ranks. Some sort of incentive for actually playing through the game many times. From the technical side of things, the game ran smoothly. It didn't slow down, but that didn't prevent it from glitching out on a few occasions. There was multiple times where my game just completely froze, and in fact, during my last ranked run, when I had a good run going, I just had to return the vaccine to the character, my game got completely locked up when pulling up a menu. I was unable to move. The timer didn't even tick down anymore. The game was just completely frozen, no matter what I pressed, no matter what I did. This happened actually more than one time, and another instance was when I made it to my character to give them the vaccine, it went to a black screen, which it normally does, but it just stayed at the black screen without advancing me to that next rank. This happened on a couple of occasions, so overall, 4 runs ended up getting stopped because the game completely broke. Vaccine is available on the PlayStation 4. It does not feature a full trophy list nor a platinum. The trophies involve finding out the actual secret about the house, killing your first enemy, and then getting all of the ranks for completing the game many times in a row without fail. Once you end up dying in the game, you'll have to start back from the beginning rank, and that's really not as bad as it sounds because this allows you to power up and max out your character, so it makes the later runs an absolute joke. Vaccine is one of those games that I really wanted to love, and it just ends up falling a bit short. I think they did a great job as far as capturing the look and feel of those games from the early to mid-1990s, as well as the music goes along with everything quite nicely as well. But it's just a lack of variety, as well as the technical issues that I ran into that just ended up pulling me away from the experience. With everything said, I'm going to be giving Vaccine a 5 out of 10. But anyway, guys, that's going to wrap up this review. I'd like to thank you for watching, and of course, I hope you enjoy.